Hey Arch, how are you doing? Love your work, and this being said, you asked for opinions to the Kroot society, where Stone Age-like barbarians with quite astonishing weaponry use even spacefaring technology to do the stuff they do in a quite barbaric way, and really celebrating their primitive ways while using highly modern stuff in the same moment. So, Arch, you told us that this is kind of strange because something like this never ever existed in our own society. Like, say, one part of the human species with an industrial infrastructure gives weapons to another bunch of humans who take the weapons but have not a lot of interest in getting the know-how how to build these things for their own. And more than that, rejecting all the goodies these industrial guys produce in way larger quantities than weapons. Let me think about that. Well, I can think about such examples where a high-tech society uses barbarians to do the dirty work. And those of you who sit now in front of the computer and think, what the heck is he talking about now? Wasn't this Minecraft video enough stupid bullshit? Here's a little introduction to Warhammer. Warhammer used to be a strategy game where you can play with little figures, epic battles. Emphasis on used to be. The company behind this changed the politics to overprice anything in a way that you now can pay in their shops with cash or mortgage on your house. Nevertheless, as a veteran of this game, I have to say the stories are funny, and orcs on warbikes and dark elfic guys who power their tanks with the agony of others and strange chaos guards and stuff. It's just cool. Within this wanky universe there are several wanky species, and one of them are the Kroot we are talking about. And these Kroots are in essence and in an absolute nutshell kind of birds who have the ability to adopt genetic information by eating stuff. And since this is quite a successful evolutionary trait, they became not the dominant species on the planet, they became the whole larger than birds ecosystem on the planet. And in the game, they are savage and they are not the brightest bunch, and Ark asked for good reason how such primitives can possibly reach a level of technology that one needs to go to the stars, and the Kroot have this technology. Well, I would say, as they do anything else, I would bet by specialization. We know that Kroots come in all shapes, colors, IQ niveaus, sizes and whatever more, and the Shapers maybe, very well, also be just a different kind of subspecies than the ordinary Kroot soldier. I mean, we certainly know that they are different because they have certain abilities that other Kroots, well, lack. Most noticeable, they seem to be a bit more clever. And we know that the Kroots have an industrial infrastructure, and you pointed it out that most of them are somewhere underground. I believe in the very first rulebook they told us that they are side by side, but it's not important and I couldn't find this stupid book anymore. However, I would strongly suggest that the Shapers are either a different branch of Kroots that is on a genetically level more clever, because, well, they eat other clever species or the right cocktail and they became cleverer and said, hey, why bleed for the flesh? Let these other stupid guys bleed and I do as if I were one of them. Or there is an even more clever subspecies that lives underground because they add a lot of very intelligent moles in their underground industrial infrastructure and perhaps in luxury. Perhaps they don't look even like the Kroot we love to sacrifice, I mean to bring to use for the greater good. And here now we go back to reality. We do that. With we, I mean humans. There are cultures who don't care for a comfortable way of life. Some indeed do this kind of voluntary, in other cases it's achieved by, well, those of power just denying this luxury to the people below them, or keep them uninformed about all the goodies that are out in the world, or keep them in war non-stop. Or you combine this, however, it works. As you know, the worst thing that could happen to a warlike species or tribe is peace and prosperity. All we see from the Islamists, I mean the Kroot, is the simple warrior that gets a mission and some propaganda into his head to fight for the greater good. The funny thing there is, these Kroot warriors are used to go out and collect this yummy DNA and bring some of it back and give it to them who sat behind and provided them oh so generously with weapons. In a way, the foot soldiers of the Kroot are already indoctrinated to fight for the greater good. It's just not the same greater good than the Tau fight for. However, I would give not all too much thought to that. After all, the Tau deemed melee combat as primitive, and not a Tau with half a brain should do it, while in the same moment equipping the spiritual leaders with melee weapons. Oh, silly blueberries. Silly workshop in consistency. The conclusion to this is simple. Not every culture will adopt an industrial lifestyle, and using them as soldiers makes a lot of sense because, let's face it, using an army of Einsteins with machine guns is a waste of resources, since an army of dummies with the same kind of machine guns will inflict the same damage, but is even way cheaper and more easy to keep under control. Well, the Kroot culture is about specialization, and in this regard mirrors our species. We too exist also on just one single planet. In some cases just miles from each other, as a species that flies to space and a species that lives in the Stone Ages. In a sense, we are Groot.